What if I told you that the very foods you're eating, maybe even every single day, are quietly sabotaging your energy, your mood, your metabolism, and your long-term health? You might think you're eating pretty healthy, doing your best, choosing what seems normal or convenient. But the truth is, our modern food system has become a trap, loaded with substances that hijack your brain chemistry, inflame your body, disrupt your hormones, and keep you stuck in a cycle of cravings, fatigue, and disease. Ultra-processed foods have become a staple in modern diets, but they are among the most damaging substances we regularly consume, often without realizing the true toll they take on our health. These foods are engineered in labs, stripped of nutrients, and loaded with additives that hijack our biology in powerful ways. They are the product of food science, not nature, designed not to nourish you, but to keep you coming back for more. The problem isn't just what these foods contain, it's also what they lack. When you eat ultra-processed food, you're consuming products that no longer resemble real food, and your body suffers the consequences at every level. Ultra-processed foods are things like packaged snacks, sugary cereals, fast food, frozen meals, flavored chips, cookies, crackers, sodas, energy drinks, instant noodles, and anything that comes with a long ingredient list of things you can't pronounce. These aren't just empty calories, they're biologically active compounds that alter your metabolism, brain chemistry, and gut health. These foods are often loaded with refined starches, added sugars, hydrogenated oils, synthetic flavorings, and preservatives. They contain little to no fiber, protein, or healthy fats. They're designed to be hyper-palatable, meaning they override your natural hunger signals and keep you eating far more than your body actually needs. When you consume ultra-processed foods, you initiate a cascade of metabolic chaos. First, your blood sugar spikes rapidly due to the refined carbohydrates and added sugars, forcing your pancreas to release large amounts of insulin. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, the driving force behind type 2 diabetes, weight gain, and many chronic diseases. High insulin levels also promote inflammation, increase blood pressure, and contribute to fatty liver disease. These foods flood your body with calories, but deprive it of nutrients, leaving you overstuffed but undernourished, a condition now widespread across the world. One of the most dangerous aspects of ultra-processed foods is their effect on the brain. They're engineered to trigger the same dopamine-driven reward pathways that addictive substances like cocaine and nicotine do. This isn't a metaphor. Brain scans show that sugary, processed foods light up the same regions as hard drugs. The combination of sugar, refined flour, salt, and synthetic flavors creates a powerful hit of pleasure, which your brain remembers and craves. This isn't about weak willpower. It's a biological trap. These foods are addictive by design, keeping you locked in a cycle of cravings, crashes, and compulsive eating. These foods also wreak havoc on your gut microbiome, which is central to your immune system, mood, and digestion. Processed foods often contain emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, and preservatives that damage the delicate balance of good bacteria in your gut. A disrupted microbiome leads to leaky gut, systemic inflammation, and an increased risk of autoimmune disease. The lack of fiber in these foods starves your gut bacteria, while the abundance of sugar feeds harmful microbes. The result is poor digestion, bloating, brain fog, and immune dysfunction, all of which stem from what's happening in your gut. Beyond the metabolic and neurological effects, ultra-processed foods contribute to a wide range of chronic illnesses. They are directly linked to obesity, heart disease, depression, certain cancers, and even neurodegenerative diseases. This isn't surprising when you consider that these foods increase oxidative stress, drive inflammation, impair mitochondrial function, and disrupt hormonal balance. They accelerate aging at a cellular level, shorten your health span, and lead to a diminished quality of life. The more you consume these foods, the more your body struggles to maintain balance, leading to disease not as a random event but as a predictable outcome. What's equally important is what you're missing when ultra-processed foods dominate your plate. Real whole foods, like vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, quality proteins, and healthy fats, are rich in nutrients that your body needs to function optimally. They provide antioxidants, fiber, phytonutrients, minerals, and vitamins that support every organ system from your brain to your skin. When you replace ultra-processed food with whole food, you give your body the information it needs to heal, detoxify, and thrive. The food industry spends billions of dollars making these products cheap, convenient, and addictive. They're marketed aggressively, especially to children, with colorful packaging and misleading health claims. Terms like low-fat, whole grain, natural, and heart-healthy are slapped on boxes filled with processed junk. It's easy to get confused or feel overwhelmed, but the truth is simple. If it comes in a package and has more than a few ingredients you don't recognize, it's likely working against your health, not for it. Avoiding ultra-processed foods isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. It's about breaking free from the cycle of cravings, fatigue, and poor health. It's about reclaiming your energy, your mental clarity, your mood, and your longevity. When you make the shift to real food, your taste buds change, your cravings reset, and your body begins to function as it was designed to. You experience more stable energy, better digestion, improved sleep, and a sense of well-being that no processed product can provide. Start by reading ingredient labels carefully. Choose foods that are as close to their natural state as possible. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store, where the fresh produce, meats, and dairy are usually found. Cook at home more often, so you know exactly what's going into your food. Batch cook simple meals with whole ingredients to make healthy eating more convenient. Replace sugary snacks with nuts, seeds, or fruit. Trade packaged breakfasts for eggs and greens or a smoothie made from whole food ingredients. It's not about being perfect, it's about making better choices more often. Every step away from ultra-processed foods is a step toward healing, toward energy, and toward a longer, more vibrant life. You don't need a complicated diet plan or a massive overhaul overnight. You just need to begin. Swap one processed item for something whole. Feel the difference. Let that be your guide. The path to health is built not in extremes, but in consistent choices that honor your body and your future. Avoiding ultra-processed foods isn't a restriction, it's a profound act of self-respect. Added sugars and refined carbohydrates are some of the most harmful elements in the modern diet, yet they are also the most pervasive. Found in everything from breakfast cereals to salad dressings, from so-called healthy granola bars to white bread and pasta, these ingredients have become normalized in our food culture. The problem is that they are silently driving a wide range of chronic diseases, stripping us of our energy, and triggering internal inflammation that lays the groundwork for everything from obesity and diabetes to heart disease, cancer, and cognitive decline. Most people consume them daily without fully understanding the damage being done inside their bodies with every bite. When you consume added sugars or refined carbohydrates, your body rapidly converts them into glucose, causing a spike in blood sugar. In response, your pancreas releases insulin to shuttle that sugar out of the bloodstream and into cells where it can be used for energy or stored as fat. This process is normal, but when you eat these foods repeatedly throughout the day, think sugary breakfast, white bread sandwich, soda or sweetened coffee, pasta dinner, and dessert, your body is constantly bombarded with sugar, and your insulin levels remain chronically elevated. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, which means your cells no longer respond properly to insulin. Your body has to produce more and more insulin to get the job done. This condition is at the core of metabolic dysfunction. Insulin resistance is the root cause of type 2 diabetes, but it doesn't stop there. It also promotes weight gain, especially around the belly, increases triglycerides, lowers HDLs, the good cholesterol, raises blood pressure, and ignites inflammation throughout the body. It affects your brain, your liver, your hormones, your skin, and even your mood. What begins as a small dietary habit can spiral into a major health crisis over time. The problem with added sugars and refined carbs is not just about the calories they add. It's about the hormonal chaos they create. These foods do not satisfy your hunger. In fact, they do the opposite. They stimulate your appetite, increase cravings, and make it harder to feel full. Added sugars are often hidden in foods you wouldn't expect, like ketchup, yogurt, pasta sauces, soups, and so-called healthy snacks. Refined carbohydrates like white flour and white rice act just like sugar in the body. They're stripped of their fiber and nutrients, causing a rapid rise in blood glucose. Without fiber to slow absorption, these foods hit your system like a bolt of lightning, fast, intense, and damaging. The more you eat, the more you crave. This is not a failure of willpower. It's a biological response designed to keep you coming back for more. Food manufacturers know this. That's why sugar and refined grains are in nearly everything. They drive consumption and profits, not health. The inflammation triggered by high sugar and carb intake is one of the most dangerous outcomes of all. Chronic inflammation is a silent killer. It doesn't cause obvious symptoms at first, but over time, it damages blood vessels, joints, organs, and brain tissue. It accelerates aging and increases the risk for diseases like Alzheimer's, heart attacks, strokes, and autoimmune disorders. Inflammation also worsens mental health, contributing to anxiety and depression. The gut is especially vulnerable. Sugary, refined foods feed harmful bacteria and yeasts, creating an imbalance in the microbiome that can lead to bloating, brain fog, fatigue, and immune dysfunction. Sugar also affects your hormones in profound ways. It disrupts leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, and ghrelin, the hormone that triggers hunger. When these hormones are out of balance, your appetite becomes dysregulated. You feel hungry even when you've eaten, and satisfied only temporarily after meals. This can lead to constant grazing, overeating, and emotional eating. Over time, this creates a feedback loop that is hard to escape. You eat to feel better, but the very food you're eating is what's making you feel worse. Another often overlooked consequence is how sugar affects the brain. It causes dopamine spikes that create a short-term sense of pleasure followed by a crash. This roller coaster leads to mood swings, fatigue, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. Over time, the brain's reward system becomes desensitized, meaning you need more sugar to achieve the same feeling of satisfaction. This is the very definition of addiction, and like all addictions, it becomes harder to quit the longer you stay on the ride. When people try to cut out sugar or refined carbs, they often experience withdrawal symptoms, headaches, fatigue, irritability, intense cravings. This is your body resetting after years of overstimulation. But once you push through those first few days or weeks, something incredible happens. Your energy stabilizes, your cravings vanish, your sleep improves, your mood lifts, your focus returns, your body begins to heal. That's because you're no longer on the blood sugar roller coaster. You're no longer constantly triggering insulin and inflammation. You're giving your body a chance to return to balance. The key is to replace sugar and refined carbs with whole nutrient-dense foods. Choose fiber-rich vegetables, whole fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains in moderation. Prioritize healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and omega-3s from fatty fish. Eat clean, high-quality proteins like eggs, chicken, grass-fed beef, and wild-caught fish. These foods nourish your body, keep blood sugar stable, and provide sustained energy throughout the day. They don't trigger the same hormonal chaos or cravings. They leave you feeling satisfied, grounded, and clear-headed. Also be aware of beverages, one of the largest hidden sources of sugar. Sweetened coffees, energy drinks, sodas, flavored waters, and even fruit juices can contain more sugar than a candy bar. Train yourself to read labels. Become an ingredient detective. Know that anything ending in "-ose" is a form of sugar, and if it's in the top 3 ingredients, it's a problem. Better yet, stick to water, herbal teas, black coffee, or drinks you make at home from whole ingredients. Eliminating added sugars and refined carbs is one of the most powerful steps you can take toward reclaiming your health. It doesn't require a fancy diet, expensive supplements, or extreme restrictions. It requires awareness, consistency, and a commitment to treating your body with the respect it deserves. You'll be amazed at how quickly your body responds when you remove the things that inflame it and replace them with foods that heal. This is not about giving up pleasure. It's about rediscovering what true vitality feels like. Industrial seed oils are among the most insidious ingredients in the modern food supply, quietly damaging our health meal by meal, day by day. These oils, which include soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, and safflower oil, are often marketed as heart-healthy alternatives to saturated fats. They are cheap, heavily processed, and found in nearly every processed and packaged food, from salad dressings and sauces to chips, crackers, frozen meals, and even so-called health foods. While many people think they're making a healthier choice by using vegetable oils instead of butter or coconut oil, the truth is far more troubling. These oils are not just neutral, they are actively inflammatory, oxidative, and harmful to your cells and metabolic health. To understand the dangers of industrial seed oils, it's important to look at how they are made. These oils don't come from vegetables. Despite being called vegetable oils, they are extracted from seeds using industrial solvents like hexane, then refined, bleached, and deodorized to mask the rancid smell and taste that results from this harsh processing. This process generates unstable molecules that are highly prone to oxidation, both in the bottle and inside your body. Oxidized oils generate free radicals, reactive compounds that damage cells, DNA, and tissues. This oxidative stress contributes to aging, chronic inflammation, and the development of nearly every major chronic disease, including heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's. One of the primary concerns with seed oils is their high concentration of omega-6 fatty acids, particularly linoleic acid. While omega-6 fats are essential in small amounts, the modern diet has skewed the balance dramatically. In ancestral diet, the ratio omega-6 to omega-3 fats was roughly 7:1. Today, because of the widespread use of seed oils, that ratio is closer to 20:1 or even 50:1. This massive imbalance drives systemic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is not just a vague concept. It is the foundation of most modern illnesses, from joint pain and digestive issues to heart disease and cancer. Every time you consume these oils, you are pouring gasoline on the fire of inflammation. Another issue is the way these oils interact with our cellular membranes. Our cells are surrounded by a lipid layer that is made up largely of the fats we eat. When we consume healthy fats like those from olive oil, avocados, nuts, and wild-caught fish, our cell membranes remain fluid, flexible, and functional. But when we eat oxidized seed oils, those damaged fats get incorporated into our cells, making them rigid, dysfunctional, and more prone to damage. This affects everything from nutrient transport to hormone signaling to how well our cells respond to insulin. the ripple effects are profound and long-lasting. Hormonal health is another area where seed oils wreak havoc. The delicate hormonal balance in our bodies is regulated in part by the types of fats we consume. Omega-6 fats from seed oils disrupt this balance, especially when consumed in excess and without a counterbalance of anti-inflammatory omega-3. This can affect everything from thyroid function and reproductive health to mood stability and stress response. Women in particular may notice worsened PMS, irregular cycles, or fertility struggles, while men may experience declines in testosterone and energy levels. These effects are not coincidental, they are the result of consistent dietary exposure to inflammatory fats. Seed oils also impact metabolic health in significant ways. Research shows that diets high in linoleic acid from seed oils can increase fat storage, impair mitochondrial function, and contribute to insulin resistance. This means your body becomes less efficient at using energy and more prone to storing fat, especially around the abdomen. It becomes harder to lose weight, easier to gain it, and more difficult to maintain steady energy throughout the day. You may find yourself tired after meals, struggling with brain fog, or crashing mid-afternoon, all signs that your metabolism is struggling under the burden of the wrong kinds of fat. The dangers don't stop at the individual level. Seed oils are also harmful when heated, which is how they're most often consumed, in fried foods, processed snacks, and restaurant meals. When these oils are exposed to high temperatures, they break down further, producing toxic compounds such as aldehydes and acrylamides, which are known to be carcinogenic and damaging to DNA. This is why deep-fried foods are among the most harmful things you can eat, not just because of the calories, but because of the chemical changes that occur in the oil during cooking. These toxins accumulate in your body over time, contributing to long-term health decline. Avoiding seed oils requires vigilance, but it's one of the most important changes you can make for your health. Start by reading labels. Anything that lists vegetable oil, soybean oil, corn oil, or canola oil should be avoided. Be especially cautious with condiments, dressings, baked goods, and restaurant foods, where these oils are used liberally because they are inexpensive and shelf-stable. When cooking at home, opt for stable natural fats like extra virgin olive oil, coconut or avocado, ghee, or grass-fed butter. These fats are not only safer to cook with, but they also provide nutrients that support brain health, hormone balance, and inflammation control. It's also worth noting that many so-called healthy snacks, even those marketed as organic or natural, still use industrial seed oils. Just because a product is gluten-free, vegan, or labeled with healthy buzzwords doesn't mean it's free of harmful fats. In fact, many plant-based and processed health foods rely on canola or sunflower oil as a cheap fat source. Being a conscious consumer means going beyond the front of the package and looking closely at the ingredient list. When you begin to eliminate industrial seed oils from your diet, you may not notice a difference overnight, but the effects accumulate. Over time, you may notice reduced joint, clearer skin, improved energy, better digestion, and more stable moods. Your body begins to rebuild its cells with healthier fat. Inflammation levels begin to drop. Your metabolism begins to recover, and you regain control over how you feel and function day to day. Industrial seed oils are a hidden driver of chronic disease, but the good news is that you have the power to remove them from your life. Every meal is an opportunity to choose fats that heal instead of harm. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Choose fats that your body recognizes, that your ancestors thrived on, and that support the vitality you deserve. You don't need seed oils to make your food delicious. Real food cooked in real fat is not only healthier, it's more satisfying and more nourishing on every level. Artificial additives, preservatives, and chemicals have quietly infiltrated nearly every corner of our food supply. From the vivid colors in candies and drinks to the unpronounceable names in processed snacks and frozen meals, these substances are designed not for your health, but for convenience, shelf life, and profitability of food manufacturers. What's more troubling is that these artificial compounds are often consumed multiple times a day by the average person, all while flying under the radar of public awareness. The long-term health consequences of constant exposure to these substances are wide-ranging and deeply concerning, especially when you consider their cumulative impact on the human body. Artificial colors, for example, are synthetic dyes made from petroleum. Yes, the same substance used to make gasoline. These dyes are used to make food look more appealing, especially to children, who are particularly vulnerable to their effects. Multiple studies have linked artificial food dyes to behavioral issues in children, including hyperactivity and attention deficits. These effects are not just anecdotal. In fact, Some countries have banned certain food dyes or require warning labels when they're used. Despite this, they continue to be widely used in the United States in everything from cereals and candy to sports drinks and desserts. The irony is that these bright, appealing colors are often added to products that are nutritionally empty and loaded with sugar, creating a dangerous mix that undermines both mental and physical health. Preservatives are another major concern. While they are designed to extend the shelf life of food by preventing spoilage, many common preservatives come with significant health risks. Compounds like BHA, butylated hydroxyanisole, and BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, which are used in cereal, snack foods, and chewing gum, have been linked to cancer in animal studies. Sodium nitrite and nitrate, often used in processed meats like bacon, hot dogs, and deli meats, have been associated with an increased risk of colorectal cancer. These chemicals may prevent spoilage, but at what cost? When you consume these preservatives regularly, you're introducing toxins into your body that can disrupt cellular processes, promote inflammation, and increase your disease risk over time. Artificial sweeteners are often marketed as a healthier alternative to sugar, but the reality is far more complex. Substances like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin are hundreds of times sweeter than sugar and are commonly found in diet sodas, sugar-free snacks, and low-calorie desserts. While they may seem like a good option for those looking to cut calories or manage blood sugar, research has shown that artificial sweeteners can actually disrupt metabolism, alter gut bacteria, and increase cravings for sweet and processed foods. In some cases, they may even contribute to weight gain rather than weight loss. Moreover, these sweeteners can interfere with the body's natural signaling systems, confusing the brain and digestive tract, and potentially leading to overeating and hormonal imbalance. Flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate (MSG) are used to intensify the taste of savory foods. MSG is commonly found in canned soups, chips, frozen dinners, and fast food. While the FDA considers generally recognized as safe, many people report experiencing symptoms like headaches, nausea, and chest pain after consuming MSG-laden foods. There is also emerging research suggesting that glutamate, the active compound in MSG, can overstimulate nerve cells and may play a role in neurodegenerative conditions. Even if you don't notice immediate symptoms, repeated exposure to such additives can have subtle long-term effects on your neurological and endocrine systems. Another area of concern is emulsifiers and thickeners, which are used to improve the texture and stability of processed foods. Common additives like carrageenan and polysorbate AT and carboxymethylcellulose are found in everything from non-dairy milks and ice cream to salad dressings and sauces. Recent studies these substances can disrupt the gut lining, contribute to leaky gut syndrome, and promote inflammation. Since the gut is intricately connected to the immune system, mood regulation, and metabolic health, any disturbance in gut integrity can ripple through the body in profound ways. What may seem like a harmless additive in your almond milk or yogurt could be undermining your digestion and immunity over time. One of the biggest problems with artificial additives is that they often work in synergy, meaning their combined effects may be far more harmful than each individual component. Food manufacturers rarely test their products for the cumulative effects of multiple additives consumed together. This is especially problematic given that the average person may consume dozens of additives in a single day. Breakfast might include artificial flavors and colors in cereal, lunch might have preservatives in deli meats, and dinner might feature emulsifiers in sauces or frozen meals. Over time, this creates a cocktail of synthetic compounds that the human body was never designed to process in such quantities or frequency. The liver, our main detoxification organ, bears the brunt of processing these chemicals. While it is capable of filtering out toxins, constant exposure to artificial substances puts it under chronic stress. This can lead to sluggish detox pathways, hormonal imbalances, and a buildup of waste products in the body. A stressed liver is less able to manage cholesterol, balance hormones, and regulate blood sugar. The result is a subtle but steady deterioration in health that may manifest as fatigue, brain fog, skin problems, and poor digestion long before a serious diagnosis appears. Making the shift away from artificial additives requires a commitment to eating real, whole foods. It means trading packaged snacks for fresh fruit, choosing plain yogurt over flavored varieties, and cooking meals at home using natural ingredients. It means reading labels carefully and choosing products with ingredients you recognize and can pronounce. It may take a little more time and effort at first, but the benefits are enormous. When you remove artificial substances from your diet, your body begins to function the way it was meant to. Your energy improves, your mind becomes clearer, your digestion becomes more efficient, and your immune system becomes more resilient. The good news is that your body has an incredible capacity to heal. When you stop bombarding it with artificial chemicals, it begins the process of repair and regeneration almost immediately. Inflammation goes down, detoxification ramps up, and your organs can finally operate without interference. What you feed yourself is information for your cells. Real food sends the right messages, while artificial additives create confusion and dysfunction. Artificial additives, preservatives, and chemicals may be hidden in our food, but they're not hidden from your biology. Your body responds to everything you eat, and over time, those responses shape your health trajectory. The more you can eliminate these fake substances and return to real whole, unprocessed food, the more vibrant, energetic, and disease-resistant you become. This is not about fear, it's about empowerment. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be informed. Every small choice you make adds up. Choose foods that serve your health, not sabotage it.